All of us at some point or another find ourselves in a place where we realize something needs to change. But sometimes we keep that realization just on the periphery of our focus because we're a bit scared or unconfident in our ability to actually do something about it. We don't always trust ourselves to be able to change. But there's a strategy we can use to help ourselves approach change in an inviting way, as well as with others to support them through their change efforts. And it's supported by science, but it's very practical. It's the idea of small wins and upward spirals, how achieving a small goal that's aligned with our values increases the likelihood of succeeding in the next goal, and so on. But before we get into the episode, I want to invite you to think about change differently. Change implies we become something different than we currently are. And that's always been a bit of a mental block for me because I'm always just me. So the way I think about it now that you may also find helpful is that it isn't about changing who you are, it's about unveiling your potential. Small wins help you unveil your potential that's already you, but is stuck and needs some support to be expressed. Welcome to Wellbeing with Jesse. Today, let's talk about small wins and how you can put this into practice for yourself and with others. To put this into context, we can turn to my favorite TV show of all time, Ted Lasso. In season 1, at the very beginning of the show, we have an example that ties perfectly into this concept. When Ted and Coach Beard are first settling into their coaching roles at AFC Richmond, they don't exactly get a warm welcome. But instead of trying to force the team and command them into respecting them as coaches or forcing change through just speaking at them, they do something that demonstrates this small win strategy really well. First, they identify what's in their control, the locker room.
I do love a locker room. Smells like potential.
Then they listen. Through an anonymous suggestion box, they ask for feedback, letting everyone be a part of the process.
If anything's got y'all hot and bothered, just go ahead and drop us a note.
Now, all the suggestions aren't exactly helpful.
What's a wanker? I'm a visual learner, so that's very helpful, thank you.
But they filter out the noise and find an item that they can resolve, the shower pressure.
Oh, here's a good one. Shower pressure is rubbish. Make a note of that. Wanker.
Now, this might seem trivial or like an odd example, but it's pretty spot on whether your goal is to help yourself realize your potential or help others. Jane Dutton and Gretchen Spritzer call these little issues invisible frictions, and that positive leaders win trust by acting on the small invisible frictions that people silently endure. So Ted and Coach Beard identified the space or situation they have control over, listened to identify those invisible frictions, then took quick action to resolve it, which resulted in building trust. They didn't command, they showed they care and provided service. And it's no different from when we're trying to help ourselves. Sometimes we don't trust ourselves to follow through. We need to build that internal trust first. So let's say we have a goal to start eating healthier snacks. Ted and Beard had the goal of developing a positive and unified culture within their team. We have the goal of eating healthier snacks. Let's copy the approach. First, what are we in control of? Well, we can't control the grocery store, advertisements, staff rooms, things like that, at least not as easily. But we can often have some control in our own home environments. Next, we need to listen, identify those invisible frictions. This can be through sharing with someone else, a partner, friend, etc., and having them help you identify them. It can sometimes be easier for someone on the outside looking in, or we can accomplish this through journaling. Journaling is a great way to have a conversation with yourself, writing down moments where you feel like you struggled to follow through with your goal. Walking through your kitchen, you popped open the candy jar and took a handful. Now we take quick action. Circle your top 1 or 2 invisible frictions you discovered through journaling. And one of the best little tricks here is to rephrase the problem as an opportunity. So if you wrote down, I keep eating these ultra-processed snacks on the counter, you could rewrite it as an opportunity. I will have healthy, counter-friendly snacks ready to grab as I walk by. As the popular quote goes, an opportunity is just a problem turned inside out. And then act on it as quickly as you can. Keeping the thought to action window as compressed as possible is huge for building that internal trust to take action. That's why we want small wins. It's so much more likely we can do that if it's something small rather than some big goal that we just won't be able to act on quickly. And here's the coolest part about this. It creates momentum. Research by Sheldon and Hauser-Marco in 2001 showed that when we succeed at goals aligned with our intrinsic values, we're more likely to keep succeeding. Initial success generates emotional energy and internal coherence, making it easier to commit to and accomplish future goals. That's what we call the upward spiral. We've all heard of a downward spiral, but upward spirals exist as well. But they need that initial nudge to get going. This is where you can really help out others. Support them in that initial nudge. Help them achieve that small win. My wife recently did this for me. This healthy snack example isn't made up. I love candy, like a lot. And I really struggle to control myself when it's in the house. I don't walk by and take one candy. I walk by and take 7 or 8. So my wife helped me find a small win. First, we talked about it and she listened. She took the time to understand the problem and what we have easy control over in the situation. Then she made suggestions and physically helped me complete them. We have these little jars, so she prepped them all and got 7 little jars and divided snacks amongst them. Still some candy type items, but also healthier items like dried strawberries. Now I can have one little jar open and snack on rather than a big candy jar like we used to be doing. It's so small, but this really works for me, and her support made it happen quickly, and I feel more confident in my ability to control my candy cravings, but also I totally trust that she can help me with my other goals because she's shown me through her generosity and care that I can trust her. A great example of service-oriented leadership in a home setting. I think it's important to realize that this starts with normalizing honesty and dialogue, whether it's with others or yourself. Inviting honesty without drama. Here's a really great question to ask either as a journal prompt or with, your team at work, your partner, your kids, your friends, whoever you want to support to make small wins. Is there anything you've been holding in that you wish I knew? And be ready for what it might be.
Piss off, wanker.
Celebrate the feedback you get either from yourself or others. Develop that psychological safety for honesty to happen, and then pull out the frictions, identify the small wins, and take quick action. That potential won't be hidden for long. Small changes don't just improve well-being. They create momentum, identity, and trust. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing. It really supports this small channel. And let me know in the comments, what's one small win that's made a difference in your well-being lately? Now, we have a bunch of things cooking right now that I'm really excited to share with you all soon. So if you want to stay in the loop on those and hear about them right away, follow me on Instagram at wellbeingwithjesse. Thanks for being here. Talk with you next time.